This conference will now be recorded.
Sorry. Okay, yeah. So over the past for 5.5 5.6 years of experience, I have done the two implementation projects on the SAP Upon Cloud project. That's a private implementation where we have been leveraging the all the SEC programs into the latest cloud clean core approach. Okay. So out of which we have been focusing only now the RESTful application programming model. Okay. So what is all about and all that's today is we are just only the introduction we are going to see. So how it can be leveraged, why it is important to what is why it is coming into the picture, and what is the importance of it, the purpose and all. Okay, I hope I'm audible right clearly.
Yes, Bhaskar.
Okay, sir, thanks.
Yes,
Yeah,
sir.
yeah, ABAP is just the framework for developing the cloud-ready RESTful application using an ABAP. It supports an end-to-end development of SAP Fiori apps, managed and unmanaged scenario to develop the OData V4 services. So you all, as understood, you are from the SAP background. So let's begin with the legacy approach, which you all been using it in the ECC systems, or it can be a S4HANA system. Okay, on the on-premise. So how that the programs being leveraged in the RESTful application programming model. So you will understand the purpose and over there itself. So you might have seen the in the legacy systems that's a on-premise system that report programs, model pool programs, and SEGW projects, right? And those will be replaced with the RESTful application programming model. Okay, so in the report programs, we will be using the ALV reports and kind of input screen and output to show it on the output screen. In the model pool program, in the multiple screens, we have to go pass and here and there, right? And in the SHEW project, we have been creating the new OData service V2 services, right? So these are the obsolete one in the clean core concepts. It's a red pattern, tier 3 model we call it as. So out of which we have been that SAP has introduced the clean core concept, which is the tier one model, which is a RESTful application programming model where we are having developing the screens in the Fiori. Like in the legacy system, we are creating the screens like screen 100 and 200, that's 1000 screen and all. Right. Instead of that SAP GUI, that we have been using a browser-based applications which will be supported as a SAP Fiori. That's SAP Fiori is an application. Okay, just like a SAP GUI, it's a graphical user interface. Similarly, we have in browser based, it's a SAP Fiori application. To develop those Fiori applications from the backend with the help of the ABAP, then that's a RESTful application programming model comes into the picture. You all get it? What the wrap and background? It's just a framework which given by the SAP to create the Fiori applications with the help of the ABAP backend sites. So how it will be done and what is that all about, I will show you. But let me share my screen. Let me know if you are able to see the screen.
We can see.
Yeah. Thanks Naveen for this wonderful sessions. So these are expert soft trainings which we come conducting. Usually we conduct the online trainings. So today we'll be conducting the SAP ABAP RESTful application programming model. Okay, out of which these are the models which you already have gone through in the websites and introduction while going through it, right? So we let me introduce the again. So what we have been covered in this entire session, that's the introduction of the how it started and ABAP CDS view, virtual data models, the developing of your list to report apps, unmanaged scenarios, and I will tell you those kind of scenarios and all with the real examples as well to you can understand with the familiar with the legacy programs. Okay, and RESTful application programming on cloud and on premises. Okay, that's a model 7 is the extension of the standard SAP Fiori app extension, which will be not in the SAP wrap, but it is a extension of the standard wrap application. And developing overview page, it's a separate application that's in the Fury app. That's a separate template we'll be creating it. Okay, and similarly there is an analytical report also. You might have seen the in the report SC38 report program, that's a ALV screen report, right? The ALV screen report is just giving the input and showing on the output in the like a ALV format. That ALV format in the SAP Fury application will be called as a list report. Okay, and if you have that's a, some kind of a tool, multiple applications in a one screen, single screen to navigate to the another screen. That's why you might have created in the model pool programming. So that's an overview page. And if you want that all the data in an analytical format, then we'll be creating that in the analytical page. Okay. These are the different types of Fiori applications being generating with a RESTful ABAP wrap. I will give you giving a name as a wrap instead of explaining those complete RESTful application programming model. Okay. So these are types of Fiori applications which can be generated. How it can be generated? That's we can go through it. Okay. Will be in the next section, in the upcoming sessions. So report page and object page. These are the basic pages, the normal ALV report with kind of how it can be downloaded with the help of the SAP Fiori elements. And the models extension in-app extension, side-by-side extension, and on-premise and cloud. These are just a um, uh, extending the standard applications. Okay, you might have seen in the existing scenario in the ACC where you have created a one custom fields. Okay, that's with the help of the custom include and append include, right? So that will be replaced with the in-app extension with the help of the custom fields and logic. Side by side as extension is like it's apart from the on-premise system that separately we'll be creating, but by just calling the APIs in between. Our entire background core will be there in the SAP system, but to interface and the logic that to showcase the user interface will be developed in the Bash Studio and deployed into the Cloud Foundry. That will be called as a side by side. We'll go in details and later on. Okay, just a giving a heads up of what is all about. Okay, by just a module concept. And that's it's a SAP Fiori that's after developing, and even the standard Fiori application you might have seen in the Fiori launchpad, that how it will be there and what is the principles are there. Because so and that's how that launchpad configuration will be done, the business catalog, what are the catalogs are there, or how many types of catalogs are there, so and what are the roles in there, how many types of layers of security concept will be come into the SAP Fiori concept. Okay, that's will be there in the module 3. ABAP Cloud development using SAP Business Application Studio, application business technology platform. That's we called as SAP Cloud platform. So once we have developed, we have two options. Okay, whether we can deploy it into the on-premise system or else we can deploy it into the SAP BTP. That's a cloud foundry. We have two options there. So we'll be focusing on the cloud concept. So we'll be having a business application studio trial account and deploying into there. But since we have a limitation, so only the one application can be developed, deployed into the cloud foundry. So it's completely the clean approach. Okay. So you got it right. Any doubts so far? What is a wrap and what is all like why we are being using? What is the importance of it? What is the clean core approach in the wrap introduced? Why it is introduced? And with compared to the legacy one, any doubts so far? If not, then I'll consider as a no doubts. Okay, moving to ahead. So, but before learning anything, I would recommend to understand the purpose of it, why we are we learning, whether it is important or not, and why it is important in the latest scenario. So then only you will have an interest to learn something in the wrap. Otherwise, you will just think about why we are being using, why all those things come into the picture. Okay. So consider that in the essay, it is been replaced with the wrap application, model pool program also. even in the SEGW project also. Okay, these three been replaced with the RAP. And then how it got agenda at SAP, how is it evolved? Because currently that our SAP customers and even in the market being moved to the cloud concept. Okay, so then SAP also SAP's customers also wants to move into the cloud concepts. So that's the reason that SAP RAP framework been introduced. So not only just a RAP, there is also one framework is also there, that is a CLAP, complete the cloud application programming model, irrespective of the on-premise system. That is a different complete architecture we have. Okay. Then you know ABAP on HANA, that's ABAP in the S4 HANA, that on-premise system. Then now it is been moved to the cloud. That is a cloud concept. That's ABAP on cloud and also ABAP cloud. There is a difference in it. Just understand. I'm repeating. ABAP on cloud and ABAP cloud. The differences are there. What is ABAP on cloud? Like ABAP, we have been writing the with respect to the principles of the cloud in the on-premise system. Okay, for example, it's a private cloud. You the all the just let's understand that what is the on-premise and cloud concept. That's infrastructure IaaS, infrastructure services provider, and platform as a service and software as a service. So currently the ABAP on cloud is a platform as a service. Okay, and ABAP cloud is like a infrastructure as a services, in which you will be developing the from the backend side itself. The backend in the sense is the on-premises that we call it the infrastructure as a service, because all the infrastructure which will be you developing those ABAP applications, which can will be reside in the customer data space, data centers. So whatever that data center, that architecture, that runtime environment, if deploy it is they handled by the SAP itself, then we'll call it the ABAP on cloud. Then that's a will which can be subscribed with the BTP. That's a business technology platform. Here ABAP on cloud, which is a infrastructure as a service. ABAP cloud is a ABAP on cloud is like platform as a service. ABAP cloud is an infrastructure as a service. That's a private cloud and public cloud. Okay, private cloud is like which you have the all the data centers and runtime environments, infrastructures, and all will be there in the customer data centers only. That's a private cloud. If you are opting just as a platform as a service, just to only using the services to develop the application without needing any infrastructure, maintaining those infrastructure, that's we can that where we have eliminating the basis team. So we'll have that we can call it as a public cloud concept. Okay, where you just to only have a SAP Fiori launchpad, nothing else. There is no SAP GUI at all. Okay, even in the while developing the ABAP RESTful application program, either in the ABAP on cloud and ABAP cloud, we will be developing only in the Eclipse only, not in the SAP GUI. Okay, why? Because the SAP GUI doesn't support that CDS views, that behavior implementation, that whatever the artifacts will be using to develop the RESTful application programming model. So we can able to see those artifacts which we have, whichever we developed in the Eclipse from the SAP GUI as well, but cannot be editable from the SAP GUI. So slowly in the upcoming years, that SAP wants to remove the dependency on the SAP GUI, only the focusing on the SAP Fiori Launchpad. In the SAP Fiori Launchpad, we'll be having only the Fiori applications only, not the multiple program and the data report programs and all. The T code concept will not be there over. Clear so far? So we have been moving towards the cloud and moving towards the browser-based applications. So that SAP Fiori has introduced to develop those SAP Fiori from the ABAP developer. We are introduced the RAP application. If a non-ABAP developer want to develop the SAP Fiori application, then CAPM will comes into the picture. That is a cloud application programming model with the help of the Node.js or Java with JavaScript. Clear? Okay. One second. These are the backgrounds of the SAP BTP wrap and overview of the wrap. And what we cover also you might understand, right? That is about how to develop the CDS views and what are the CDS I will tell you, virtual data models. Whatever they required to develop the wrap application, we will be individually will be covering in the individual models and different applications also. But in the entire session you only you can I will be focusing only on the particular major overview of the concept, not in a in depth, because if you go in the depth in complete wrap, there are n number of things you will be comes into the picture. Just like if you are familiar with ABAP, you might have only see the structure and what is the internal table, what are the DDIC concept, you're right, but you not know what there are. If you go by learning and doing the while having an experience, then you might have faced into some kind of scenarios when some kind of situation will be come into the picture, then we have to explore over the things. But the basic architecture we will be covering over the session. Then at least you have a grip and understanding of the how we can be leverage and how we can add the futures into it without even knowing, because everything doesn't know anyone, we even no one remember everything. Okay, so but at least if you know the architecture must know, but efficiently, but the basic you must know, then we can add any additional features into it. What are the additional features you might have seen in the ALV report? Once you develop the ALV report, you might like that one color to be red and one column should be editable, one column is not editable, one column like a hyperlink must be there. There are the additional features, right? But the how to develop the wrap application, sorry, how to develop the ALV application, if you know that calling the function model, or you can that class oops concept and all, that you must know, then you can add by looking into the signature and the methods, out of which methods, so you can use those in-depth granular level concepts, and you can use the additional add the features as well. Here what we have been covering. So and that I will tell you the architecture. So you that SAP, as you already have an SAP background, then you this no need of it, I think. Let me tell you again that currently the SAP has sorry, earlier been SAP introduced the file exchange that then became RFC, that a remote function call, then IDOC concept, then OData. OData is that the SEGW projects, then SOAP concept, then that the BOPO framework, that is a wheel business object processing framework, which mostly using in the transportation management model. Then RAP. RAP is the one which will be covering that OData, or apps and IDOCs, that all the interfaces we can also be used. So when you understand the architecture, you can use it in multiple places also. We can eliminate some of the concept. That's an IDOC. If the other person, other means other vendors, other non-SAP application doesn't support an IDOC, we can use still the wrap also. But it depends on the configuration level how we can use it. So just understanding the wrap is must. So all the throughout the session, I will be focusing on most of the times in the architectural wise only. So and not just the individual additional features, otherwise it will be jumble and you will be confused that why it is using, why and all, why it not that all. Yeah. uh, RFC is the external system intermediate connecting with the SAP system with the RFC is for an additional, that's okay, additional, that's okay, yeah. um Ensure this became this architecture. So one second. This is the architecture of the above RESTful application programming model. Mostly the basic fundamental is a data modeling. That's a CDS view. You must know the CDS view. CDS is like a core data service. I think uh, we can cover it in the next slide, next session. The architectural side, how we can start. But for now, that is all about. That's a wrap and all. Why and all. Why the purpose and all. Is there any doubt so far? And also while learning, I have been using the Copilot as well. which is in most of the MNC companies being introduced to use the leverage the GitHub Copilot into the productivity and to develop those artifacts. So I will be using the GitHub Copilot also to generate the artifacts and to speed up the process also. But to speed up the process, you must also understand that's the concept also. Okay, so that also will be covered, that GitHub Copilot and how AI is being introduced to generate the RAP application. Okay, that is also been be covered. And, are you all aware of the SAP BTP? Anyone?
No,
Yes.
no, 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 no.
Okay, good. I think at least someone responded. And any doubts on the RAP application? Why introduce it? What is there and what is not there? Why to learn and all? Yes, please. Yeah, if you see in S4HANA system, tier 1 model, which you are talking about, tier 2 model, tier 3 model. Earlier, we RESI 38 reports, SEGW project, and that application jobs. That that's what function workflows, that RISE concepts that are built now. It's considered as a tier 3 model, which is an absolute in the current market when we go into the clean core concept. What is a tier 2 model? The tier 2 model is like whatever been developed with there in the uh, first we will be focusing on the tier 1 model, that is the application RESTful application programming model. What is a alternative approach in the cloud concept, if at all, if it is doesn't have any flexibility to convert into the clean core concept, then will come into the tier 2 model. That's a API wrapping of the existing legacy program and just to showcase and use it in the cloud concept. Still so far it's clear. That's all for today's session. Yeah. If anyone having any doubts, please let me know.
Hello. Yeah. Can you can
Yes.
you differentiate
Anyone?
S4
You
on a
can raise
public
your
or
hand.
cloud?
I can call your name. Otherwise, yeah, go ahead, Gangadhar.
Yeah. Can you differentiate? I'm not properly understand that S4 on a cloud, public cloud, private, and on-premise. Is there what is the difference actually?
Nice. Answer to your question, SAP. Let's see. These are the infrastructure. How the who is handling the infrastructure of the SAP systems. Okay. If you or if you are the customer, you have purchased, if you want to handle your own database systems and own SAP environments, application servers
Okay.
and R3 architecture, then it will be considered as a on-premise system. Then if all these architectural wise is been taken care by the SAP system, then it will be considered as a cloud-based system. But in the cloud-based also there are two approaches will be there. That's a private cloud and a public cloud. Public cloud is just a like uh, subscribe based. If you want one user,
Okay. Okay.
just subscribe it. But
Okay.
in the just if you consider that our Google Drive and memory card is just like a on-premise system. It is installed in your within your phone, right? But is a Google Drive is
Um,
like it is maintained by the Google, but we just using the services over there. It's a platform as a service. Sorry, it's a software as a service. If you are able to develop the applications on the uh, platform which is given by the SAP, then is a platform as a service. That is a SAP BTP. You in SAP GUI in the legacy approach in the on-premise system, we'll be using SAP GUI. We are having application server, and with the help of the SC38 interface, we'll be developing those, and that is in run in the application um, infrastructure, right? So that will be taken care by the SAP, sorry, our customer landscape. But if you are want to develop the application in the SAP's landscape, then it will be considered as a platform as a service. SAP BTP ABAP environment is a platform as a service, and SAP ABAP in the legacy SAP GUI, that's infrastructure as a service. Got it?
Okay, okay, thanks.
Okay. Anyone else? Any doubts? No. So
Bhaskar, one question. In
yes,
case
yes.
of this public cloud, I mean, we can implement our new RAP applications, or we need to use whatever the SAP provided.
Uh, Answer to your question in the legacy approach, so you will understand more better. In the SAP GI, also in the SAP on-premise system, you will have that standard T codes also, right? That's the VA03, VBAK, sorry, XD01, MM01. Those are right. Those are the standard application been given. But still, we have been our responsible that application. We are still developing the SE38 report programs, right, for a customer specified applications. So similarly, SAP also in the in the cloud way, SAP has given a standard Fiori applications also. That's the Fiori based applications instead of the SAT code. But still, the customer wants to have some kind of reports, analytical report, overview report. Then we will be developing those custom application by us.
Okay.
And yeah,
So in both private and public version, we can implement our custom applications.
yes, yes.
Okay.
But the way of approach will be different.
Okay.
That is the only one. We are moving completely to the cloud. It is doesn't mean like every, but yeah. Now I can tell you one thing. SAP is trying to remove the dependency of minimize the custom developments. So they try to create the own applications by minimize the custom developments. Just you might have seen in the SAP or S4HANA system that implicit enhancement bodies we usually implement it, right? But
Yes.
in the cloud concept, that is still there for now. It is not completely a migrate the cloud concept, but still we have been implementing the body, but is a cloud based body, not a legacy that SE24 SE18 bodies.
Okay. The
Other way
approach.
approach.
Okay.
Approach will be differ. If you do the in the legacy approach, I will differentiate the legacy approach and clean core concept. Okay, while every time I'm explaining those legacy approach will be annotation will be indicating like our old way of approach. That's SAP GUI based. The new way of approach will be completely in the Eclipse only. No, there is no SAP GUI. Okay. So
Okay.
wherever we create the few standard custom fields in the standard tables also, right, with the include structure and append structure, right? So that will be custom Fiori field app. There is a standard Fiori application been given, so you can use that application standard application to create the custom fields. That's it.
Yeah. Thanks, Bhaskar.
Yes. Anyone else? While going through it, I might miss some of the key points as also. If you have anything in your mind, you can please call out and you can explain it.
Bhaskar, Arpita and Fernando has pinged their queries in the chat box. Okay.
Okay. Uh, okay. Good evening, everyone. Do not have wrap model. How the field theory development was implemented in the past, where we do not have wrap model. How the theory CADS development was implemented. See, developing the Fiori application, this is not only the way of approach, RAP. Currently we are in a background of a ABAP developer. That is why been learning that ABAP RESTful application wrap models. If you are a front-end developer completely, that is a, you must only know the JavaScript, HTML, CSS and all, and Fiori element concept. Then the front-end developer will comes into the picture. They also develop the Fiori application, but still they want to develop the Fiori application, they want an API, right? uh, the API will be given. That API in the sense in our SAP terminology, that's a OData framework. OData still we have to develop in the our ABAP developer, right? That can be developed in the SCGW project in the legacy. If we develop that OData service and given to the front end user, then they will be creating the UI, that front end developer. Okay, if you learn this ABAP RESTful wrap, then you will be a full stack application developer. So you are the one who developing the interfaces, database table, and also the user interface as well along with that. So that is how the combination of a backend and front end included and been introduced a wrap model. Is it clear, Fernando?
But
Yes. Okay. And next,
but
anyone
before that,
here?
before that, I have one more question.
Yes,
So
please.
what is the difference between actually difference between API and OData services?
Nice. So it's a architectural wise, it's a difference. Okay, in OData concept, we will having a that EDMX file where we'll have a entity sets. It's a standard protocols which will be which it been introduced by the Microsoft. Okay, so where we'll have a standard protocols to follow. This is the way to call the post operation. This is the way to call this get operation and all. So we is a architectural wise it defined. We just have to implement it and all. So anyone that can be used across in our SAP application. But rather if you go with the API, it is a generic. A generic in the sense you have to develop that how to call that post operation. You have to you have to write the code how to call the get operation. Each and individual you have to write it. But in the OData that is been taken care by the framework. If you familiar with the SCGW project, have you ever developed that any uh, extracting the JSON format into the ABAP? It is been taken care by the SAP that gateway client all right. If you in the SAP res, payload, if you give the JSON payload, it will automatically come in the ABAP conversion because that's been taken care by the OData protocol. It means that framework is already been designed. We just have to use it. Even if you go with the CDS view, if you go with any of the normal API, if you want to do any pagination in the sense top five, skip one, or any search operation, or any filter operation, or any order operation, that all are the things we have that developer has to develop those fundamentals. But if you go with the no data approach, that automatically taken care of. If you have the already table, then no need to develop those individual. Is it clear? That architectural wise it develop difference.
Yeah, okay, thank
Yeah, and moving to second, invariant background noise. Okay. With the growing adoption of Fiori, RAP, cloud, and generative AI, what does the future looks like for basic consultant? So nice, interesting question. But so see, coming to the future, then completely everyone is moving to the not currently is not everyone is moving, but in the future definitely it will move because SAP has been stop supporting the ECC system in the upcoming 2027 and till the 2030, no exception behind that. So every customer has to either migrate to the on-premise the latest one or else a cloud concept as well. Okay, and with the help of you, what is the importance of you going forward with the cloud concept? Because we can we can use the leverage the latest concept also. That what is the concept that AI in the ACC system that is already been defined by in the past. Okay, but if you want to use the AI within the TCC, it is not supported currently. But in the S/4HANA, it is still supported as an embedded way. That is a different K approach. We have to do everything by manually. But if you forward with the SAP cloud concept, then we can simply directly integrate it with the AI also. That our SAP Fiori applications all will be most recommended and most that's suggestions. No need to remember anything. Earlier we used to remember the sorry that end user we used to remember the T codes, table names, etc. Right? The process also. But when we go with the SAP, that's AI, business AI, then that whatever the we day to day life we will be doing it, that will be trained and give the suggestion and intimations to predictions and all those things as well. So that latest concepts can be introduced. So and coming to the generative AI is just generating the artifacts. While in the RESTful application programming model as well, while you are doing creating the any artifacts like creating a CDS view, creating any database table, we used to write in the define table all the syntaxes in manually with the keyboard, right? But now so world has been evolved so fast, you don't need to write it in the from the scratch. You just have to use a template and just change the names. Okay, for now, if you don't know the how to use a generative AI, and the one who know the generative AI, there is a difference in the productivity. If you know how to write it fastly, that is even different case. But when you come to the productivity and deliverable, they may expect a deliverable within a short period of time because they are expecting you have to use a generative AI with the help of those, then you can speed up the process. Okay. And second point and most important point also, whenever we going forward with the cloud, even in the future any upgrades happens, so they no need to look forward to the custom enhancements because it's a independent. They wanted to have a loose couple. Currently in the existing scenario, we have a tightly coupled the custom enhancements. If you have implicit bodies, if in the future if any upgrade happens, okay, then you have to do SPAU SPDD activities, right? So you have to adjust the enhancements accordingly to the latest approach. But when we go in the cloud concept, there is no need to do those things because it's all loosely coupled. It's independent. We have been using it. Is it clear, Arpita? Any doubts?
Yes, 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 it's clear. I'm also asking for the security. Thank you.
Okay, anyone? I think we have crossed the time. So these are the basic why we are learning and what is it. This is all about and what we are going to learn in the upcoming sessions. Thanks all.
Any other queries? Srinivas, Sujal, Subhati, Fernando.
Nothing from my side, Naveen.
Okay, fine. Okay. Most probably we'll start from Thursday. Okay, Thursday same time. Okay, I'll just confirm you through offline. Okay. If any technical queries, you let us know, or else I'll communicate. Okay, from Thursday we'll start. Thursday or Friday we'll start the batch. Okay. So we can close for the day, or any more queries. Okay, Bhaskar, thanks for the demo. We'll wind up for the day. Okay.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah. Yeah.
Thank you. Naveen. Okay, it's been recorded. Okay, I'm audible, right? Clearly.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Okay. So we had a discussion introduction on the ABAP CDS view. So let me go through some little bit more annotation point of view with the basic annotation core annotation of the CDS view. Okay, these are above catalog, view enhancement, category, authorization checks, end user, text label, metadata, this one, object types. Okay, so what are all those about? So object model result category is the one which what is the expected value is going to come in the CDS view. So it is just for use for the performance one. So if you can mention the as a small, medium, large, XL or double XL. So it with respect to that one, we can that expected records way that runtime it can design it so and process the accordingly. It is just like a data class. You as a size category, you have seen it in the S11, right? So not just a similar, but it's like a expected value of so it can allocate the same spaces of it. And above catalog.sql view name. So this is an absolute SQL view name. You replace it with the root entity or view entity. If you remove this entity, then we must have to add this annotation. That's a above catalog.sql view name. Since SAP 2023, I think, so has been obsolete one. Then SAP has introduced the entity concept. Okay. So wherever the entity is been given, so you can avoid SQL view name. SQL view name is just one of the again a view name on top of this view name. So there are two names for the CDS view. So there was a confusion. There was a lot of misalignment when we were moving the production. So if any changes is coming or if a naming convention issues, there are a lot of issues being introduced while product. Okay, 1 second. Yeah. So there are a lot of naming issues has been encountered. So that's why the SAP has been removed that SQL view name with an entity level. So if you use the entity, you don't need to use the above catalog SQL view name on. And compiler filter, above catalog compiler filter is a evaluation filter condition and path expression of the CDS can be defined. When set to true, the filter condition are compared, and if they match, the associated join expression is evaluated only once. When set to false, a separate join expression is created and evaluated for each filter condition. And access control association. Access control in the sense the
Then
correct.
Bhaskar, can you explain previous one, please? Previous one,
This
please.
one.
Yes, please.
So it just add like as a filter conditions. So if it's not an optional one, it is not a mandatory to add it in the core ABAP side and the top of CDS view. It is just to evaluate. If it is setting as a true, then it compared the associated join if it is joining the condition, and it will the matching the it will show the records. If not, then it will not show the record. It's not much useful in our day-to-day of life. Okay, it's an optional one. And the access control annotation is a major one in the real business scenario where we can restrict the number of records to the particular user. For example, if you consider the one business scenario using multiple business locations with the multiple users. If you want to access the same database table, but the requirement is to be India user can only access the Indian data records with respect to the country column. If the US the business user is executing it with for the same table, but they wanted to show the only the US records of it. So then with the respect to one particular column, that's a country key. So how we can manage this with the same database table but different record set with respect with the help of the access control annotation we can manage it. So how the access control has happened, I'm going to implement it real scenario in our session. Now let's understand the basic concept. So it is just to add the annotation like the access control access control dot authorization checks is in a column value. What the value will be? Possible value check, not required or not allowed. If you are not allowed in the same, it is like a self-explanatory, not allowed, it is not even required for the particular table, not required, the same condition it will be. If it is a check, then the CDS view will has to be implemented the access control. Then whenever any of the user is accessing that particular CDS views, then it will check the access control view also. And on top of the access control view, we have a authorization object to assign to it. That authorization object will be assigned to the particular business user, then that process will execute. I will let you know in the real example as well. So how the check is working. If it is 10, it will check the CDS view and look for the access control DCL languages. Okay. It allows you to define how the access control is handled when OpenSQL is used to check the CDS view as follows. Okay, check if if it is checked, then if OpenSQL is used to access the view, access control is performed implicitly in if a CDS view role is assigned to the particular view. If there is no role for the view, a syntax check error warnings. Just only if it is not been implemented, it won't show any error, but it will just only throw in a warnings. Okay, not required, like, but there is no syntax check warning. Not allowed, no access control is performed. This process produces a syntax check warning in DCL source language of a role for the view. So what is a DCL language? So whatever the access control we have been creating, that will be considered, it will come under the category of a DCL language. What are the this CDS normal view entity we are creating, that is a DDL language. That is DDL in the sense data definition language. Okay, I will show you. See, data definition. If it is creating the access control, it comes as a DCL, data control language. It means that data is controlling. So how do we control with respect to if we write it to control the data? That language we called as a data control language. That will be shown the access control tab in the core data service itself. In the CDS view itself, the data definition is a DDL language. Data control DCL is a data control language, that is a access control. Okay. Okay. Access control definition. We will see that how it will be handled and how to implement it in a real scenario. End user text annotation is like a description of that CDS view. Currently in our scenario, end user text label built-in function. It's a text description. See, description, properties of it. Okay, that's it. Let me show you the access control, how it looks like. Just compare it with the DDL language. Okay. In the DDL language, we have created the CDS view or the view entity, defined view entity. In the TCL language, we will create a defined role. Okay, what is the role, what is the name of it, and the grant selected is a template. You can it will automatically generate. We just have to give the authorization object of it. Okay, so where to start? First, in the top of the CDS view, we have to add a authorization check as a check. Earlier it is not required, you have to replace with a not required check. Okay, then ask the security team to create the authorization object for a particular field. For example, in our scenario, it's a char ID. In a real scenario, majorly we will be using as a country key. For a country key for a particular user, if you want to restrict the on based on the country key field, then country key will be the primary field. We have to give the security team, then they will create an authorization object on it. So how the authorization object will be creating? Let's show PFCG. Currently, I am the one who created the role as also. And SU21. See, SU21, we create the authorization object. Before authorization object, there are two also. There is authorization object class and the field, authorization field. If we already have a field that is a standard data element, then no need to create a field of it. Okay, so we can avoid it. And author and object class is the one if we already have some any of the standard we'll define it. If not yet, we just have to create a SC in a SC21 as a standard object class, authorization object class. Once this been created, then SC21 is the one where we create the authorization object with the button of the creation object. Usually we you don't create it, but as a demo purpose, I'm just giving you a whole. So this is authorization object class which I created it, and the basic details are as follows. So that the package name what is created, and a web language version as a standard one. Then on what top of the fields you want to create this authorization object. As I told you that char ID is the one which you want to create it, as a char ID is already been assigned as a authorization field. So I have added it, and active ACT with hello. Hello. Okay. ACTVT is the one, what is a role you want to perform. So it is add, creation, change, or display. Currently, I have given for this authorization object as three options, all CRUD operations. So whoever is assigned, whoever the business user assigned to this particular authorization object, they can able to create it, update it, and display also for those char ID. But now, how to define the which is a business user, which data is been populated. Okay, let me show that one also. Yes. You are just currently you have given the only the authorization field and in an authorization object, but you haven't mentioned that which is the data the particular user wants us to show. Okay, that we can define in the role authorization display authorization data, where you can create a, let me show the edit mode, edit roles data. See, add it manually, that author and object. Okay, once your authorization object has been added, then you can expand it. See the whatever the fields you have mentioned authorization field, then it will populated. You have to manually give the particular filter criteria. For example, if the US country, the US business user wants to access it, then US is a country key that you have to specify here. So each and every country for each and every authorization objects, particular role has to be created, and on particular role you have to define the specify the keys for it. Currently, as a demo purpose, I have given as a LH is a key. So whoever is accessing, we were having a role of Z boss underscore role, they can only visible as a LH, not the other one. Okay. Once the role author and object assigned to the role with the filter criteria, okay, then we can create the authorization object. Okay, let me show the demo one, edit one. This one I have not been created. So now I will create. Right click on it, new access control, Z boss access text to one. Give the any random name. Access control name one. Okay, and protected entity, which is the CDS we want to protect it, is this one on top of the CDS view. DDL language. Next, then create a role with a PFCG. PFCG in the sense that's a role or role based. There are multiple you can use it, but majorly we will be using the PFCG authorization on top of the authorization object only. Okay. Okay. So it's automatically the template has given. Now you want to add a entity element one, which entity this one. Okay. Now char ID. Char airline code. You can give a multiple where clause also. And what is the authorization object? ZAU char ID. You can just replace template names. ZAU ZAU. Before that, I want let me show you the preview. Currently, I have been implemented. Okay, I have been activated is in between I have left it. They just wanted to show you the before data before implementation. Okay, currently with parameter I will comment it. I don't want a special parameter. Activating, activation finish, F8. Let's make it is a uppercase. So yeah, AC, AF, H, LH, LH, and SQ. All other airlines also visible to me. Correct. So let keep this as it is, and now on top of this CDSU I'm creating the access control. See, how do I define? Select on this one. This is the one where we can interact with the CDSU. Okay, and where which is a clause, where clause that on top of which field to add it, that's the airline code, and expect PFCG is automatically that syntax is generated. You can use the same. And what is the authorization object? Authorization object is ZAU underscore CARRID. This one authorization object. Ready? Authorization field 1, which is author char ID is a field 1. CARRID char ID, and what is the second field? ACTVT. ACTVT is the one what operation you want to perform. ACTVT equal to filtered value 03. Okay, 03. Since activity have given a activity as a create, update, delete, and all, right. So just to wanted to make sure for this particular CDSU what you want to perform it. So specifically, so 03 for no display purpose, since CDSU doesn't perform anything, so only the display only we have to give. That's a 03. Now it's activated. How do you know activated? In the properties version is active. Okay, yeah, this role let me check in the whether it is assigned to me or not. SU01 for me roles. Yeah, that boss role. Okay, testing, training, testing role that has been assigned to me. Okay, now if I refresh it, see, LH only is visible. Clear? Any doubt so far? Access control. This is a major one. So majorly the real-time requirement it would come. So that's the point of view showing you all this. With the basic one, the authorization object, what are the authorization field, authorization business role, and all. So and where it is being using and how to use it, and what are the concept of the access control. This is one of the interview questions. Also, you may expect that how to restrict. The question would be how to restrict the data. So you can say that with the help of the DCL language, that data control language, with an access control, we can restrict it on top of the authorization object or for a particular field. Is there any doubt in this? If you're not unable to speak, you can chat in the chat conversation.
Arpita, Prakash, Sujal.
No, sir.
You should have to respond, boss. Otherwise, timer will lost interest.
Yes.
Yeah, interested, sir.
Guys,
Yeah,
please be responsive.
yeah,
Please
sure, sir.
be responsive.
Okay. So that's it for
Yeah,
the access.
Bhaskar,
Yeah. Yeah.
Bhaskar, can we go one more example?
Okay. So currently for one more example, I have to create a authorization object from the scratch for a particular another field. Usually it will create by the security team. So again has to ask to the security team, or else I have to create it once. Do you want me to show the one only one example or other one? So I'll show you. I'll change the authorization object value. Okay, so it can be considered. Let me show. Lesson SC21 authorization. Then PFCG Pro authorization display change authorization data. So now I'm changing it to yes. Let's check what are the data actually available. Let me you can deactivate also. You can deactivate script. So for your as a developer, you must only know the how to write this syntax only. That's it. Yes. Okay. Yeah. Deactivated. Then user comparison. Successful. Well updated. Updated. Replace it.
You need to remove this. Yes. Security.
Let me check AC. Okay. Edit. Currently, none of the filter criteria I have given it. Okay, that's the reason it is showing you the blank record, 0 records. Okay, so now I'm changing it to activate mode with the other field AC. Activated, generated. Okay, and then user comparison. This is security activity. Okay, so okay, it's a green. Then refresh it once. The AC it's only coming. Clear? So what you all to know that how to define the access control and how to uh, uh, interlink with the our CDS view and the access control of it, and what is the tags of it and how to define it. So in the starting way we have to mention CDS view build 1, 2, check recommended way. Okay, this access control dot authorization check slash check. So once it is done, then create an access control on top of the CDS2, right click, access new access control. Then you can give the random name, whatever the naming convention follow, and choose the, I will show you again steps. New access control. Okay. So, fresh to and user template role defined with PFCG aspect. Okay, once it is defined, then that select on the this is select on with a select CDSU name where that's a that airline code is a where clause, that's a element name equal to aspect space PFCG authorization in bracket. You can has to give the authorization object name, and on in the authorization object what are the fields are been there, that's char ID and activity ACTVT for a 03. Okay, now if you see the I have replaced the char ID with the airline code. Why? Because that char ID as defined with an airline code as an alias name. That's the reason. So wherever the CDSP is being used, you have to use the alias name or not the table field names. Clear?
Yes, yes, now
This
it
is
is
just
clear.
this is just a only small syntax you just have to use. So what is the to this authorization object, ask the security team and give the what is the field you want to on top of the you want to do the authorization check, and what is the field value for a particular role, which country they are be executing. Accordingly, that country will be specified as per the requirement. Okay, is it clear?
So we need to
Yeah.
create users, user for every user we have to create multiple authorization objects, right?
No, authorization object will be run, but roles to create. Roles we have to create.
For every user we have to create a role, right?
Right.
Okay. Based on the country, so Bhaskar need to check only India and Prakash has only to see Pakistan.
Now, if I create a one more rule, then in the authorization check data, you see, you can specify the where clause, which value should be filtered out. So whoever is assigned to particular role, for example, this role is for India, then all the India user can must assign with this role, no, none other than a US one. If the US user is executing, then create a one more role of the US. Then you can specify the filter criteria, add it with the some whatever the filter criteria you wanted. So assign that US role to the US user. So same data, same CDSU, but with just only the role, with the help of the role, the data will be manipulated.
Okay. For and based on and what about in the same role with a different activity? You have to create another role.
Yeah, activity, yes, for every things you need to change it, because if this particular role is for the create, update, delete, these three operation. If you want to have, for example, this will be you will be usually assigned to the functional role, but when it comes to the business user, end user, they has to request the create and update. They just want to use the show the role operation like display operation. Then we'll again security team will create the one more role to for us display only.
So whatever be the change, you need to create another role, right?
Right. So
For
security
example,
will be handled that how we can. I'm not sure how exactly, but from my side, I can tell you for each and every role also, because it will be defined the different conditions. Okay, whoever is assigning to this role, they can operate all the operations which is been defined it.
okay, this activity is there now on the bottom. We have given 03.
Right. I have
So,
restricted it.
so if 03 means only display.
Right. 03
2
only
means,
mean display.
2 means
01 is like
no, add or create. Insert
right.
or create.
So right. So it is like the same for we used to write in the ABAP report program. Authorization check is a syntax one where we have to pass the give the authorization object and the field names of it, right? 0301 an activity. If you have remembered in the ABAP, usually write it the similar way, but rather than being writing it manually authorization check, we create the this define role grant select and all. That's it. But rest all remain the same. That concept and all.
Okay.
The way of approach is different for the system.
Generally,
Yes.
this is a GRC consultant's job. We need to write the code only, right?
Right. So now it is a generic one now. So for particular whichever the user they want to execute, their role will be differ. Same data, same access control, the role will be differ. With respect to the role, the content of records of the data will be differ. Yeah.
Yeah. Just
Yes.
Okay.
we need to know this because GRC consultants are not available. Small big organizations.
Okay. Even if you find any of the tutorial, just to directly go and create mention the direct assign to the creation of the assume authorization object already been there and you create this just as DCL language. But for your understanding, I created it to that authorization object. I showed you the steps also. But if you wanted that, but majorly we don't have an access to that PFCG roles, that SU21 and SU11, SU01.
Yes.
Okay. Okay, that's all for this. So, and cardinality now. So, cardinality, yesterday we had discussion on the cardinality, and you had raised one question that how that association 0 to 1, 0 to star, 1 to star, and 1 to 1, is how it will be differ, right?
I raised it for the 0 to star. Not zero.
Okay. Anyway,
The left side is 0. Left side is 0.
so yes. So, 0 to 1 is the, one second. Let's close this one. Association and joint.
I understood 1 to 1, 1 to n. Okay, but 0 to 1 or 0 to n is a 0 to star.
Actually, this is predefined mod. Predefined the one of the syntax to give the CDS view that what is the expected result. Okay, it is not like it has been restricted to it. It is just to give the CDS giving a command that this is CDS view is where the association is been handling. Then expected is to 0 to 1. Okay, whatever we do define the cardinality, it is restricted like we do in the left outer joint, inner joint and all. Let me show you the example. Okay, association is a 1 to 1 in the sense is a lower limit and upper limit. It's like a at least and at most. At least one record and at most one record. And if it is a 0 to star, at least 0 record and at most 2 record. So you don't find any issues when we expose it in any of the places also. But it will give the warning. The performance issue will come in as a warning. What is the warning is coming? See, you can see cardinality star of association does not match on the on condition. Okay. So it's like we're only expecting a 1. So it will give a warning as thrown. So let me show you in the. Before that, I had exposed the CDSU as a OData services with the help of this annotation. That is a @odata.publish :true. If it is a true, then just only the CDSU has been exposed as a OData service. It's automatically created. Okay. So just only one syntax. Then we have to copy this CDS view and in slash and slash iwfnd slash maintain service is a T code where we have to activate that service, add service. Okay, with code apply technical service name by adding a underscore CDS. This is you have to remember it, but this is an obsolete syntax. But for you to understand it, for cardinality purpose, I am giving a real example where it will restrict it. But why I'm saying, because if execute it in the Eclipse, it won't restrict. Even if you're having a n to many records, but it will won't show you the real case. 1 to 1. Okay. Currently it is a 1 to 1. Let me give you where it is. Okay. One second. Cardinal. Yeah. Yes. That's correct. Okay. So, so once this OData published to has been given, then it will be exposed as a OData services. Then how we find OData service? CDS view name underscore CDS. Okay. Once it is added, then it will show you backend service already registered. So just activate it. Just normal activation way you usually do for OData V2 versions. Okay. Similarly. This is not a training, but for you to explain the cardinality, I'm giving you the, I created the CDS views, OData cells on top of. Okay. Gateway service, add URI option, entity set, scan. Let me reverse this one. Currently it is a only 1 to 1, but do you want to take it as a 1 to many? Replace char with car and SPFLI. I think it can have multiple records. Let's see whether we have a multiple records already. Yeah, AA, AC, LLH, LH. Okay, it's have a multiple one. Char ID, star one. Super. ACH. We have only one record, but SPFLI we have a multiple records of AC, AF, and LH. Okay, it can is the best example then. No. 0 to start. But scar has been replaced. Okay, what is the field? Scar ID. Char name and currency. Since I have replaced with those things, then I have to take it. Add a scar fields. Okay, I have added a char field. Syntax is comma. Okay, so comma. Association exposure. Slash is a commented for testing cardinality. Okay, activate it. Now again refresh this OData service. Okay. Entity set. That was cardinality. Now you see add URI option, JSON format. The char ID AC, AF, tour and LH. Okay, these three records now while executing, 3 records have been populated. So now I will assign the cardinality. ZSPFLI. But directly we cannot do. To know the navigation property, we must see in the metadata explain. What is the metadata in the navigation property? You will find what is the navigation property to navigate to the association. So see here, navigation property. You get it? To underscore carrier. So we have to use this to navigate to the association. Okay. Okay, to carrier. But on top of which one? As a slash entity set main CDS view LH slash to carrier. But before that, I'm filtering out with the LH first. I think it's a single quote. LH single quote. Okay, see LH Lufthansa URL is not there. So now I wanted to associate. So similarly, what I'm doing it right now, let me show you in the Eclipse. The effect, tracing effect like a tracing of the Z boss cardinality. That's the main CDS view is been executing it. And if you want to follow the association, what in the Eclipse, what I'm doing it, follow by association, cardinality, clicking on cardinality. So similar way, what I'm doing it in the OData. So why the purpose is in the CDS view, even if you in the Eclipse, even if you write it cardinality as a 0 to 1, but it will show you the 0 to star. Okay. So to know the real example, so I'm created a CDS, created a OData service on top of the CDS view to test it out. And now I'm adding the associating to carrier. I'm followed by the association. See, LH, all the LHs come. Currently, don't have any issues. Why? Because the cardinality as I mentioned as a 0 to star. So now I'm mentioning as a 0 to 1. Okay, and activating it. Now see the magic now. 0 to star, 0 to 1. So we have given an instruction to the CDS view as the expectations to have the records from the association is a 0 to 1. Okay, so now see it is giving a warning, but it not throwing any error. We assume that it is fine, but when we execute it from the Eclipse for a demo purpose also, it may not show you any error. It will still show all the records of whichever it is matching, even though the cardinality is mentioned as a 0 to 1. Okay, now same thing if I execute it in the OData. Bad request. Clear? Because why? Because you have mentioned as a 0 to 1, but that association have a 0 to many star. Cardinality is the one at least how many record, at most how many record. So now it is can have a 0, at least 0. It may not have the records, or if you have a record, only the one record it can maximum. It's a minimum and maximum value. Clear? If you mention a 0 to star, then it will correctly populate. Once it is activated, execute it. See, it's now the 200 status. Okay. Is it clear now, JK?
Yes.
Yes, it is a only minimum and maximum
Right.
matching records,
Right.
but not exactly.
That a joint condition. You might assume that is a joint condition, right?
Correct. Correct.
Yes, because in the Eclipse we are not able to see it. That's the reason we're checking going in the real scenario, because that is CDSV ultimately we are using as a somewhere else as a API though. So there we'll throw an error that it is a bad request because it's expecting to have a multiple record, but you are restricted to only one. So it will throw error that it is a minimum and maximum value.
Got
So
it. Got it.
0 to star, if you mention as a 0 to star, it is a safer side. It means like even if you match it, is a safer side. If you're having multiple records, it is even if it is a safer side. But if you mention as a one record, but it is expect if you have a multiple record, then it have an issue because then in the gateway client it is showing as a bad request. So now consider as a one record 0 to 1 to star. Okay. Now, if we have at least one record, it will show you the 200 status correctly. But if it doesn't match any of the record, then it will again show you the bad request because you have given the instruction to the CDS so that at least one record is expected. Okay, so then whenever the CDS view is being triggered, then framework will expect it to have one record is not been populated and fetching it from the association, then it will throw an error as a bad request. Clear? So, but 0 to star is a safer side. We'll mostly write it as a beginner, but when we go and have a performance issue, then the cardinality is a helpful to decide the which cardinalities exactly we want to use it, because the framework is already been expecting something. So whenever anything happen, sorry, pulling up the record, so it behaves accordingly in the within the framework.
Got it. Got it. So if you are a header and transaction, we 1 2 star. If it is a to the transaction to the master, for example,
Hmm.
if that be to the middle master, matter, then it will be 1 to 1. Something like we need to select, right? If
Right.
if it's normal, then better go with the 0 to star.
Yes, it's a safer side. No issues will come in the situation. No error will become. Yes, cardinality is clear. So there is another concept of the parent and child, that is a composition. Along with the association, there is a composition where we exactly the parent-child relation will be taken care. So when we have a wrap object we created, then at that time we'll go the concept. But just to make understand that the parent association is not like a parent and child. It is like from the one entity to navigate to another entity. That's it. You can consider one example as a if you want to raise a request on SAP, for example, it may not have that SAP user account P user ID. Even if the guest account also, you can raise a request. Even if anywhere else, if you want to raise any request it with a guest account, you can purchase also, right? It is not mandatory to have the login credential. Like a correct example in this scenario, same selecting from the employee that login credential and associating with the that incident table. Okay, so there is a chances to have a purchase the product with a guest account also. So it may not have a record from the guest that credential master data. So it won't consider as a parent and child, right? The parent child is a one where we have a exact one to one, at least a one to one relation must be there. So until unless you have a master record, then only the child will be present. Otherwise, it not. So that's the reason association will not consider will be as a parent and child. It's like a, just to navigate to the one entity to the another. If you want to define as a parent and child, then composition will come into the picture. Then when we have that creation of the wrap objects and that parent and child VBAK both together, if you want to populate it together, then the composition will be used over there, not a association. Okay. Okay. Cardinality is clear. So, see, if it cardinality in the form of minimum and maximum, only the target cardinality status. Is a relation between the source and associated table or CDSV is included in the definition of the association. minimum and maximum, only the target is state. Note cardinality define only the target as a table view 0 to 1. It means the cardinality of target can be 0 or 1. Similarly, 0 to n. N in the sense star, asterisk. Means the target view table cardinality can be from 0 to minimum n. Or you can define the 1, 2, 3 also expected. Minimum cannot be star. There is again a restriction. You can see minimum cannot be star. It directly, because minimum cannot be star and minimum cannot be 0. How cardinality altered the behavior of a self-seen reports. Just like I have showed you in the real scenario, from the gateway client, it altered the behavior of cardinality in association. This is what I have explained. Is it clear what the cardinality is? Is it just a minimum and maximum expected behavior to give the record number of records in the association of the table, a CDS view?
For me, it is clear.
Yes.
Guys, you guys, Asta, Prakash Raj,
Yes, it's
Suraj,
clear.
Okay. We are going very slow. I think we have to speed up and catch up the other modules as well.
still
Okay.
we have not synced with your speed, Bhaskar.
This is very slow. Even one concept is just a only example is enough actually. But I have explained it in the detail of why and the real scenario as well, how it's a differing also. Usually the pattern would be that, yeah, this is the cardinality minimum and maximum. That's it. They will stop it over there and it will show you that concept. So you yesterday you have mentioned that's the reason I exploded and cleared it. I wanted to clear the concept, so I detailedly I explained you about it.
Thank you, Bhaskar. Thank you.
Okay, so now moving to the what data model.
Really,
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So virtual data model in the like whatever you have created so far, you are seeing the it is part of the virtual data model only. Okay, how it will be differ, I will show you. It's done. Now moving to the next slide. Virtual data model. Yeah. What is VDM? The VDM is a virtual data model is a semantic layer built on a top of a SAP database table using the CDS view. It abstracts the complexity of RAR database structure and present business data in meaningful, consumable format. Whatever you have seeing that's a one type of the virtual data model only. It's not a real database table, but the view of the database table to give the respective meaningful structured data in format to the user. With respect to the annotation, whatever we had it in the CDS view. So what type of the virtual data model? This is also one of the interview question you may expect. What type of virtual data model we have it? That is this basic views, composite view, and conception views. Basic views and composite views are the interface view. Whatever we have, I have showed you that is a basic view. Basic view is like on top of the stand table we have created it. It is just a one relation. Okay. And if you have a combine of enrich and combine and enrich data from basic views. So if we create a one more CDS view on top of the CDS view and combination of multiple CDS view all together, then it will consider as a composite view. Okay.
so table and CDS view is a composite.
No.
Combination.
Multiple basic views combined it, we call it as a composite view. Basic view will only have a CDS view. Sorry, database table.
Database. Okay.
If you see basic view directly mapped to the database table. Composite view combine and enrich data from basic views. Multiple basic views will combine and called as a composite view. Okay. On top of the composite view, if we create the projection layer of it, like a projection view, that we called as a consumption view. For example, let me show. Yeah, this. See, currently I have given taken all the fields right in the basic view, but the user wants to but the business or user wants to see the only of the few of the record, not the prices and all. Okay, for example, even if you see any of the data, some of the all the fields may not be visible for all the users, right? There will be some restrictions. So how they have been restricted with the help of the annotation? There are multiple ways to do it, but the initial step is to hide the fields is to not to include the fields in the CDS view itself. So it means I will create a one. I will show you an example. It means like only the specified few fields whichever we wanted to have and create on top of it. We'll call it as a consumption view for a consumption purpose. Okay. Okay.
If a table and some basic views combined, then basic views directly consuming the basic views, directly creating the basic views from the tables is a basic. Composite means combination of some basic views, creating another view is a composite.
Right.
So for these things, tailored, okay, but what about the basic views and or some composite views plus some tables? That can be
Table. So, come again. What's your query? Actually, didn't get you.
we have some basic views.
Okay.
And we can combine this basic view with the database tables also.
We can, but better to not, because why? Because when we publish it and use it across the wherever we want it, it will directly fetch from the database table. But there is a future the additional feature, whatever we have it in the CDS view data definition, we will not expect it, and we'll have a performance issue because we can, for example, consider as a pagination. And while fetching it, you do the pagination filter criteria as a top and skip functionality. If you are directly fetching from the database table, then it will give a low performance. But when we take the same thing on a composite view or in a consumption view, then it have a better performance, because ultimately it is accessing the database table only. But when we come to the composite view, it is not directly accessing the database table, but rather it is a basic view we are accessing it. Basic in the below in the basic view, we already have a database table. Let me show in the scenario. I will show this one. CDSU work backend SAP view, consumption view. See, VBAC database table, and basic interface view is a I sales order item, which is have directly only on top of the database table. And on the composite interface view, we'll have a I order item cube, where cube in the sense where we want to use it as a cube one or analytical purpose, or even if in the Excel sheet, wherever the wanted to with a combination of multiple basic views. Okay, then there we will have it. So there are multiple annotation can be effective to the in the composite view rather than the basic views. Because if we have some analytical concept on directly on top on the basic views ultimately is accessing the directly on the database table, so it will have a less effective on it. But when we have the all the analytical operation or any overview, any all other multiple annotations and the whatever we have it in the core data services, built-in functions and all, so if we on top of the basic views, then it is a effective much. We can, and answer question, we can combine the base database table also. It is not like we cannot access it. We have a features. Currently, if you see in my example, I have access it the database table and also as well as a CDS views. Here, it's not like an restrict it, but it's better. It is a recommended way to have the all the basic views. We have only the database table, and once the basic view is created, on top of it we create a composite view. Multiple basic will have combined, create a composite view, and whatever the fields you wanted to showcase on the output of the at the end user at the API, then the composite view will be created. Why multiple things? Then I will show you, I will tell you one example. Okay. um, Okay, 1 second. Cardinality, this one. Yeah, currently I have slide down. Yeah, I will create a one composite, new data definition. Yeah, source, compo, composite, composite. Yeah. Define view entity only. It acts as the same only, but it just only the annotation medium type is a composite view. It's a recommended way. It's not like a mandatory to do what is a behavior the change. Just like a cardinality, we are giving the instruction to the CDS view in the compiler that this is a composite view will have a multiple things and you can have a composite features. So in the basic view, we have just only the limited features like because we are already directly fetching from the database table. Okay. So even if you see, you can add it the same thing in the basic view also. It won't throw any error. It is just a giving the instruction to the compiler to that this is a composite view, so we can use it as the composite features will be applicable, that multiple annotation analytical views or any AFOs wherever that API side, if you want to use it, then that pagination sorted that what you can sort filter all conditions, it automatically to that framework will handle automatically. Clear? So just to understand that, like basic view on top of the database table, composite view is a combination of the basic views. Create the composite view. On top of the composite view, if you create and filter out any of the field, then it's a consumption view. Ultimately, consumption view is the one which usually expose it to the outer world or the real scenario, real example where we can use the CDS view, not the basic view. Even if you see any of the standard Fiori applications wherever and create it on a wrap application, on you will find the composition view only, because that composition view having a limited fields to expose it.
Okay. So you said that some sort filter can be used in the composite. How to use that?
Okay. In the Eclipse, if you hello.
I thought I was not audible. Okay, thank you. Go on.
Okay.
Hello.
Yeah. 1 second. See, expose. These are limited only. Let's take the another example. Okay, association. We have association LH. From the Eclipse, I am showing you first of all filter. Add first. Char ID. Char ID is already be filtered. 0400 con ID. Con ID. 0040. Sorry. 0400. Okay. So now, if you want to access the same, it's a read one. I'm removing it. I'm just accessing the CDS view, just like I showed you an example in the Eclipse. The similar way I'm doing it. Okay. Currently now it's been fetched all LH Let me take in a JSON format. The AC query operation, AF and LH. And if you want to filter out with the only one record, in brackets, single quote LH, it means a read operation for only one record. Why is the LH without having a filter criteria? Because the LH char ID is defined as a primary key. So only one key is there. So that is, if you have a multiple ID, then you have to press as separated as a comma, but better to give the filter criteria. I will show you one. If you see LH, see only the L is populated. And another way to use it as a filter one. Once dollar filter equal to what is that char ID?
First, this is a feature of OData.
Yes, but usually but we haven't added any read operations. We haven't added any what you can pagination. We haven't added, but it is automatically added. That is the flavor and features of the CDS view. That's what I'm saying. Without writing of any that all the operations, it automatically handled by the framework of the CDS view.
Right, right. You said there are some composite features or filter. You are
When
that is
when
from
we
the CDSP, not from the
yes,
OData.
that
These are the OData features that we can replace even for the normal OData. We are great.
right. Right. So in the that eh, business use case, if we have it, then for example, business use case, if you want to show the analytical pages, so whatever the record, if you what coming is as the output, they wanted to show in the analytical way, like a graph, a pie chart, near format. When we learn about the SAP Fiori and create the Fiori on the top of the CDS view and wrap application, where you will find that that features of it, that analytical. With the help of the analytical queries of the annotation, we'll find and that means that an analytical is been generated. Otherwise, it will just normal list report only. Okay, and if you want to use it in the across the Excel sheet, okay, AFO we call. In the Excel sheet, if you use any operations of pull the data and take the any do the operations on the Excel sheet, and particularly annotation, we can use it of in the CDS view of on the top of the composite view. So with respect to the wherever we are being using, accordingly we can add the annotations of it. Annotation in the sense like this.
I got it,
This,
boss.
yeah.
But only my doubt is what. So basic view, composite view. Only the names means basic view means fix the data from the tables, and composite views combination of some views, basic views instead of tables.
Right.
There's no other difference.
That's right.
Okay.
And consumption view on top of composite view, whatever the records fields you want to show on the outer world or at the end user, then the composite consumption view will be created.
What's the basic difference between these two, composite and
Right. Right. So usually you find the standard one. It starts from the I, means that composite view, interface view. Composite view and basic view is called as a interface view. So in the standard naming convention, if you want to find the any of the interface view of the standardly, then you can it start from the I. Okay, I it start from I. It means that this is a composite view, interface view. And if it start from the E, that's a consumption view. It means like somewhere this is a one where it will automatically this consumption view is somewhere it is being directly using in the any of the application. Okay, for now I can tell you that this is the one where it is a managed billing document. Is a Fiori application, the Fiori ID. We're filling in the Fiori application. This is the end of the CDS view. It is using it. Okay, inside if you see there is an interface view. Okay, again the consumption view also using it and another multiple. Inside the consumption view, if you go ahead, again some distinct from another interface view.
Only I found only the naming convention only, but remaining
No,
is everything look like complex. What is the consumption?
same
Not
one. There is a one more. I have seen one more changes. For example, for consider. Uh, okay, I will tell you the real scenario where I have used the composite view. So, for example, consider this one where is the price category. Okay? This is a one.
composite view. Okay, boss. Composite view. Okay,
Okay.
we have some combination of few more
Right. Okay.
basic views.
Okay.
Consumption. I didn't find any difference between the consumption view and composite view. Even in the composite view, you can use the same associations, all these things you can use in composite view
Yes.
also. So then,
Right.
what is the difference between these two? Means what is
Is
the
a
special?
fiction layer. A special feature is like a projection view where the end user, or if you are restricting the some of the fields of it. If
That
you
can be
find
done
the
by our security service
no
layer.
no in the service layer also we can do it. On top of the consumption layer also we can do it. Sorry, consumption we create in the projection. It's like projection on top of creating the consumption we also can use it same.
So really, I am not able to digest. If both can be same, then why it is a separately defined? Then all these assumptions associations can be
Uh,
done in the composite also. It will not.
okay.
It will accept you, right?
Right, it will accept it. Even if you see, I have created on top of the basic view only, OData service.
Yes.
You have seen it, right? On top of the basic view also, I have created it. It will accept it. It will not show error.
It won't show error and it will use as same as data as it is giving consumption. Only the nomenclature is different. Why? Is there any specific?
With the help of the real complete exact scenario, I will tell you. Okay, and that where we create a wrap application. Okay, wrap application for 3 and 4. See.
Sorry,
Yeah,
boss. For
this is one of the wrap. Hello.
sorry for the scrutinizing, more scrutinizing, but otherwise it will not be through my mind.
Okay, just understand this one. I will tell you anyway. Anyway, I cover up those points also when we go to the create a complete application. Well, then you come to know real scenario example. So I directly jump to the situations where the consumption view why it is being using. Okay. For example, this is a wrap up. Okay, otherwise it's a country. Let's go by throughout the session. Then you will come to know this. Consumption view. Basically, it will like China. Consider is a China model toy and there's a another model toy. With the China model toy is like issue it is broken or if it cannot be repaired. But another model we can able to replace any of the particular field, sorry, particular component and you can replace it. So if I want to add any additional features, so on China model toy, we cannot do it because it is already built is a one single. But if we have each and every component as a and assembled together and make toy, then you can create it and do the any of the component and you can add any of the component and you can extend some of the component as well. You can you able to recollect this one China model toy and any other toy?
No. So you can extend in the normal way also, right? You can extend some other view, serious views.
Yeah, we can extend this one, but it will be using it as composite view. It can that same view can be used to the multi cases. For example, in the billing document, if you're having in multiple buildings, some other multiple teams also been there, right? So consider as a like a delivery, inbound delivery, outbound delivery, and some other delivery. Okay, when LIKP is a one table, okay, if we extend it one of the table, then it will reflect all the inbound delivery, outbound delivery as well. But if you want to restrict only for the inbound delivery, then we can create on top of the CDS view, on top of the the database table and create the composite view, then we can extend it. But again, if we in the inbound delivery also, for example, you're having a multiple scenario like the PGI and doing some any specific operation, in that you don't want to see the particular field, but rather they wanted to see the special fields. Then at time you can create a one more view per particular those scenarios. So even if you extend those ultimate consumption view is only visible to the ultimate target wherever it will be applicable. Otherwise, if you directly click on extend the LIKP table, or even if you want it only the PGI side, then it is not worth it to have it. Otherwise, that the custom table will the custom field will be visible to across all the scenarios wherever it is there. Is it clear?
Yes, like a Chira type. Okay,
Same type.
I think, I think it will be cleared on the go. I think.
Okay. Okay. Basic view, basic composite view, the consumption view. So the naming convention of the standardly, if I start from if it starts from I, then it is the interface view, and if it starts from the C, it's a composition view, where it's ultimately using it in the somewhere ultimate in the real Fiori application or real APIs and wherever. Okay, but if you find it in any of the IA, start from the IA view, it is not directly using it in any of the places. You can differentiate it by looking into the starting of the character from the standard application. Okay, if you create a application, then according to the naming convention, you can identify it is whether it is I or C, it's a composite or it is a conception view. Okay, just a naming convention to identify. Okay. Yeah, purpose raw from the database table combined and enrich data, final view and absent final view for apps or reports. Need a basic, okay. Then now moving to the wrap, where you all opted for it. So now basic introduction is enough. So where now really we are creating the wrap application. Okay. So to create the wrap application, we can have two scenarios where on-premise system and as well in the BTP ABAP environment. That's a side-by-side extensibility. I will try to create in both the systems and show you. Okay. So before that, you wanted to onboard the free trial account. If you not opted our export software S4HANA system, then you can go and create in the SAP BTP, where the SAP is giving a trial version to you to access our SAP BTP platform. In that you can create a ABAP environment. Okay. So how to create and all, you get an account. Just like a normal account creation and all. You can find it in the database, create an account on BTP trial. You can have step-by-step approach in our presentation, where Naveen can provide you how to create and all. It's just go to the sap.com and create the one account. Okay, once you create an account, then go to the log BTP trial. Okay, access to the BTP cockpit, yeah, on a trial account. Once you have the account from in the SAP, that's a P user ID will be generated. Once you have the PG P user ID, then go to this cockpit HANA trial on demand. You can also access directly by coming the BTP trial login. The account HANA data on demand BTP cockpit. Okay. Okay, I cleared everything. Once you log in with your account, the P user ID, then you create an account. Once you create an account, then you can go to the trial account. This is a SAP BTP cockpit. Cockpit is just a user interface of the two first landing page of the SAP BTP. Okay, where you can create a sub accounts. Each sub accounts can have a multiple regions also. For now, created a one sub account where it's mentioned as a trial and given a region as a East the AWS. AWS is Amazon Web Services. So the sub account is hosted by the Amazon Web Services and it is hosted in the region of East VA. Okay, my data here in the US East. You can have create a multiple regions also. Create an executive source. Each sub account can have a different provider, different region also. If you sub account can, if your data is residing on a particular region, and if you want to copy of the same region data into the multiple region, then you can create a one of the sub account and you can use the same thing. And usually the in the real scenario, sub account will be used for quality production and development environment. Each sub account can have a different environment. Currently, you can say this sub account you can consider as a development environment. If you want to have a then one quality environment, then you can create a one more trial, one more sub account. You can name it as a quality. So once you develop it in the uh, artifacts in the development environment, then with the transport level there's a different transport concept is there to move that one artifact, all the whatever the developer artifacts is there, to move into the one development account into the qualities environment. In the BTP terminology we called as a that moving from the one sub account to another sub account. Okay, so once you landed over there, so account explorer, so yeah, when create a sub account. In the trial account, you will find that these are the services, service instance, service marketplace, instance subscriptions, and these all things are like service marketplace is the where you subscribe to the whatever the applications services is given by the SAP. As I told you in the before, SAP BTP is a platform as a service where you can have multiple tools and features and applications. You can subscribe to it for each and every applications services you want it, and you can pay for it for as a monthly basis. Okay, for now we need a ABAP environment. ABAP environment. Create. Click on create. ABAP environment service and shared cloud foundry. Yeah, there are multiple runtime environment where your data is running. It means usually we will be selecting as a Cloud Foundry only as a by default. Cloud Foundry is the one where we have like a bucket where all the applications will be deployed into the Cloud Foundry. The deployment will be done in Cloud Foundry only, and the Cloud Foundry will be taking care of the scalability and the runtime environment, how to that all the ABAP applications and the CAPM application, whichever the applications you develop it in the SAP BT, that will be run in the Cloud Foundry majorly. And similarly, the Kubernetes and Karma other also you can use it, but majorly we will be deploying the whatever the application developed that will be deployed in the Cloud Foundry only. Even the integration team also will be deployed in the Cloud Foundry. So Cloud Foundry is the one where the SAP is being given as a by default. The you can use it as an environment where uh, similarly, like in the our backend system application server, we have it right in the application server that our web application will be run through. Once you create it, that has to be executed somewhere else. That compiler and to each and every syntax as you whatever you written that needs to be executed in the runtime. So that will be handled in the application layer, but in cloud BTP, we have a Cloud Foundry. Cloud Foundry will be execute those whatever the applications you developed and deployed it spaces. So for each and every account, you must allocate to the one of the space. Space in the sense a GB can like a memory card. So for what are the applications you will be developing, accordingly you can select for the space also. Currently is a trial account. SAP has been given a particular, I think 250 and 2.5 GB, I think limited space. So once it is being exhausted, you can purchase it for more according to your requirement and to subscribe and to pay for as a monthly basis. There is a pricing model also. The concept will be there, one time or user base, or you can whenever we use it only if you want to pay or a monthly basis. That's accordingly you can subscribe to it. And the instance name, you can give instance name other. All these are not been required for as a developer side, but an overview I'm giving it because that a BTP will be taken care by these all these operations. Okay, so just to overview of to give the how this BTP configuration and our layout is look like and what are the main concepts are there as a component. Too much know is I'm giving the service is a ABAP environment. I'm subscribing to this ABAP environment. ABAP environment in the sense currently whatever you are developing is this one. See, you are right. Somewhere you have to develop it, right? So in the on-premise system, currently you have subscribed to the S4HANA system. So in the S4HANA system, you can directly run a project and you can do that. On-premise system will be taken care by the this environment. Currently, if you have purchased public cloud, you must purchase the ABAP environment separately. So in the where a public cloud scenario, that everything is not in a come one package. You can subscribe to it, but still you can only the limited one where until unless you consume it for each and every component, you can subscribe to the each and every component as well separately. Even if you take the only the BTP cockpit alone, not everything else also. Even if you take the BTP count in that also there are multiple services is in there. For example, consider as a desktop. If you purchase the desktop, then monitor you have to keep separately purchase, and the CPU and the SPS and all RAM, GPU, and that is an on-premise system. Only when at a time it can be purchased and you can use it multiple years. But when it comes to the cloud, it is like a drive based. For example, Drive, Google Drive. So Google Drive is a limitedly they have been giving a 2 GB of space, 15 GB, right? So that entire architecture and infrastructure will be handled by the SAP system. We will be not be handling. We just only consuming the services, right? And whenever the limit is been exhausted, you can subscribe to it, right? So similarly, the space, whatever, however you subscribe to the particular spaces. So similarly, here also you have a particular each and every component you can subscribe to it and pay for the monthly basis. Pricing model, there are different pricing model. So what are the service in the service marketplace like a SAP market? Translation hub, service ticket engine, document AI, mobile service. If you want to use a mobile services, then VC subscribe to it. Want to use ABAP environment, then this you want to develop any app applications, then ABAP environment you must have to subscribe it to it. And SAP Build App, that is a cloud application programming model. Even the drag and drop functionalities, UI5 things. So that this with the help of this SAP Build Apps, you can subscribe, you can create and all those applications. And SAP Business Application Studio is specifically to develop the applications of side-by-side extensibility. And SAP Build Work Zone is like a SAP Fiori Launchpad, but in the BTP side, BTP space. SAP Build Process Automation is like workflows, standard workflows. We have it in the legacy system, right? But in the BTP space, we call it as SAP SAP Build Process Automation. SAP code is there to generate the AI capability to generate the CAPM applications, and also as well as the UFI applications also, with the additional features where we have a dashboards and navigation property easily. No need to write it in manually. We just have to click the templates and you can create it. That's the build code. So these are comes under the application development automation where we use it as a developers. These are the features services has been available to subscribe the each and every. If you access for a business above environment, only particular space is allocated. If is allocated space has been exhausted, then you have to subscribe the one more space also. If you use any build apps, but all the environment you can go to the one of the environment only, that is a cloud foundry. Okay, and this for a, if you want to develop any data and analytics for it, then this HANA Cloud and if you want to subscribe for a HANA database, Cloud HANA database, then this is the one which has to subscribe it particularly. Where majorly it is for me, it is required to create the build code, that is CAPM application side by side extensibility, and you want to see the schema HTTP container and want to add it that SAP HANA database system, then this has to subscribe. And alert notification, if whatever created and you want to create the alert notifications, then this and authorization trust management, like authentication and authorizations. This is the one which has been taken care by that one. Cloud transportation management, just like I mentioned, to move to the one transport to one system to the sub account to the one another sub account, that with the help of this cloud transport management. But initially when we see it in the SAP GUI, all the features will be available in SAP GUI with just only S4HANA system itself, right? Like a TR transport request or this gate line above SC38 program, report program in the Eclipse side, in the HANA database system, auto security also. All are inbuilt features within there is the infrastructure as a service. But SAP BTP is as a platform as a service where it will provide the platform and each and every uh, services you subscribe it and for use cases. Cloud Foundry clears, and the Cloud Foundry you can see if it is a spaces. Cloud Foundry is like a bucket, cloud bucket. Now you can see only 4 GB spaces memory is allocated. Currently the 0 GB is not used in instances. Like uh, consider this the one, one session is open, one instance, another session, one instance. Just like a two for your like normal understanding purpose, I'm saying that multiple applications to run in a multiple instances. So only 400 inches can be job run together as a in a trial account. HTML5 application, and security connectivity. If you want to connect into the our on-premise systems, okay, and any of the other outside of the systems, like the third-party vendors, you can create it in the as a destination. Currently, I have configured as a destination for our S4HANA 2023 version, just before this one, and with the help of the cloud connector. I will tell cloud connector to that later. But the cloud connector will help into connect between the S4HANA system to the SAP BTP. In between, the cloud connector will be used. S4HANA system to connect into the BTP, we can directly connect it, but to avoid the expose it directly to the BTP, and we wanted to do some mask operations. Mask in the sense we don't want to expose that host and port, some crucial important parameters. So how to avoid it, and we want to do the any virtual host and all. Then the cloud connector will come into the picture, a mediator in between the S4HANA system to the and a BTP. So once you have configured, then in the ABAP environment, it automatically come visible as our whatever the OData services we created it. And the security, for example, each and every services will have role collections. Okay, each role just like we have a PG roles, right? Roles and all, and the role groups, group of role. Similarly, that are users, that's a user view and a role collections. For in every role collection must be assigned to the particular user. For example, now I am the user. If you see what are the role I have assigned to it, sub account administrator, and I am the one BTP account sub account owner, so I can assign to the my own role collection automatically. So currently this you can see only few roles. Why? Because I have not been subscribed to multiple services. If I subscribe to multiple services, then a role collection will increases accordingly. Currently, I have assigned to the sub account, created a sub account, then sub account related role collections we can see, and also the cloud connector also I have used it, and you can see a cloud connector. Business applications should have not been subscribed. Then okay, if it is, then you can assign to role collection. So it means I can access this my email ID. I can access all those services assigned. Otherwise, it will throw in a error that you have limited authorization. That authorization get failed. Role collection. You can create your own role collections as well. Just like we create the roles and all authorization objects and user statistics. How much you are using. How many subscriptions you have it. How many spaces you have it. How you are using. Once you start using it, you can show you the thing. Is it clear that background of SAP BTP? Just you have not been handling all these things. Just overview I've just given because that SAP BTP admin itself is one of the special role been came into the market where we're handling all those things. Not all those things, but this is the better way BTP cockpit. For each and every spaces, each and every component will have a different role. For example, the security will be handled as a security one. Connectivity is a basis team will, and the or to who want to subscribe it to it, and the platform as a service B cockpit will be handled by the BTP admin. The cloud on the spaces, and what are the subscribe they have to subscribe it, who is handling. Okay, the multiple roles will have to come into the picture to maintain the BTP cockpit. Currently, we are the one as a developer in the instance and service. I will show you the application development. Only we are just consuming it. This is an application development and automation. We are majorly we are working around these services only. Okay, is it clear?
Yes, yes, Bhaskar.
Okay. Okay, background is done. Setting and install an above platform. Installation. ADT installation, just like Eclipse installation. Okay, just you already know that how to Eclipse it is not, then you can follow the instruction being given by the PPT and document, and you can, or else you can follow this Eclipse, download the Eclipse plugin. So download Eclipse and make it a web element. Add plugin. Last session only I have gone through this, how to install Eclipse and all. And once after the Eclipse is been installed, we have to add our web development environment, ADT. Our developments with the URLs. So then a web perspective will be opened like this. Okay. Once it's done, it's clear. So we can add project. Currently, this is the one which is newly I subscribed to it. Instance subscription is the tab where we can have whatever you have subscribed to it. Service marketplace is the one where you have all the subscriptions which is available to subscribe for it. Whatever you have subscribed to it is available in the insurance subscription. Okay, so insurance business application should is already subscribed to it. Okay, I have instance. Now I'm configuring to the Eclipse web cloud project. ABAP service instance. Copy. Yeah. Okay, now it's asking the browser to open login. Since you have to authenticate to the BTP account, trial account, you are successfully logged in. Super. So it is asking to service instance. Just like you have added S4HANA system, similarly, only with the help of the URL, you can add it. How to get the URL? The service marketplace. Usually that BTP admin will give you, or you can configure it with the credentials which they will be giving you. So once you subscribe to it and if you have access to it, then you can add the same instance anthology. Yeah, and finish. One more repository check explorer will be added. This is a SAP BTP ABAP environment. And S4H is a SAP S4HANA environment, where you are developing the artifacts within the on-premise system. And whatever you develop in this TRL underscore ANTH, which I given, that is a BTP trial upon BTP ABAP environment. What is ABAP on cloud? ABAP, this is a ABAP environment. Whatever you develop this CDS, it's an ABAP environment, and this is ABAP on cloud. So what is the difference in it? If in the ABAP perspective, all this whatever you write it must be in a cloud environment only. Currently if you see in the ABAP on-premise system, you find the both versions. This ABAP language version, standard ABAP would edit. Okay. But in the ABAP and cloud, only the cloud version is applicable. Cloud in the cloud version is majorly only the released API has to be used, not other than the only released API in the same, even for every released artifacts, starting from the domain level. Okay, even if you have a S4HANA system attached to it, to the SAP BTP environment, okay, but you cannot access the starting from the domain data element, database object structures, or table types, or search help until unless it is released. Okay, only as of now in the market, only few of the few of the artifacts has been released. You can consume it. Then how to do it? Okay, then as I mentioned, a tier 2 model, we have to create it one basic of it in the on-premise system, because that side CDSU where that environment will happen. You can create it a side by usually create a side-by-side extensibility in the SAP BTP environment, which are with the released APIs. Okay, for example, consider this you has created and released it for the cloud element. Then you can access it in the SAP BTP for custom CDS applications to create the wrap application in the cloud environment. That will be considered as a side-by-side extensibility. And whatever you created in the wrap application within the S4HANA system, that is the on-stack extensibility. Clear? Now we'll create an on-premise system. Since this SAP ABAP environment is okay, we'll create on top of the SAP ABAP environment only. Okay, I'm creating favorite pack. We'll start the wrap application ABAP package. Now I'm creating in the ABAP environment, SAP BTP ABAP environment. Package. Since ABAP package is I will show you. I will tell you what the package. Since the package is a unique name, but why it is through an error? Because in the BTP trial account, I have subscribed with my another email ID, my personal one, which is this is the one which is a training. Okay, training email ID. In the training email ID, I have subscribed to it. In my personal account also, I have subscribed with the same thing. Now in a personal account, I already have a ZBoss underscore package. Since it is referring to the same global ABAP environment, the trial account is being given for all the users can access to the individual. There is no encapsulation in between. So whatever the one user is created for in their trial account, they can able to access the another user also. But it is not that case when we come into the public cloud, because only the particular organization access the same particular organization data only. Since this is a data, currently I'm using the trial account, that is the only the reason can access to the another account trial account artifacts. Okay, if we see, instead of creating it, I'm adding into the favorite package which I created in my another trial account. Loading the content. See, this is the one which automatically. Now I'm starting with the database table. We have a time like, yeah, only half an hour. Okay, we'll go through the first presentation, then we'll come in the next session create from the database, create the artifacts of the RAP. Okay, onboarding trial account and platform is done. Setting our installation is done. So what is the architecture? So initially we have to start with the database table, data modeling, the CDS view on top of the database table. Okay, queries. Then we have to create the business object on top of that one. What is the business object contain? Behavior implementation, behavior definition, and data modeling. Data modeling CDS view. On top of the CDS view, we have to create a behavior definition. Behavior definition in the sense how the CDS view must be behavior, and if it has to be defined. Once the behavior is defined, then what is the core logic to execute it? For example, in SEGW project, we have to create a package creation and project entities and entity levels. Then we MPC extension, DPC extension classes be created, right? Those classes we can consider in the behavior implementation, the SAP terminal. Once the business main core business object is created, we have to expose it. Even though with the directly normal business object also we can expose it, but business object projection is a mandatory, not mandatory, is an optional to create project the each and every artifacts. So we can have multiple applications can be created with the same business object. For example, one business object is performing any operation, and if you want to leverage the same business object and want to perform some other thing, then that can be done. With just a projection, we have to defer it, change it. On top of the projection, then to create a service definition. One service definition is the one, what are the entities you wanted to expose it. And on top of the service definition, service binding. On service binding is the one which is the version you wanted to take it forward. Either it can be a OData V2, OData V4. In the OData V2 also there are two situations, that normal API or UI. In OData V4 also UI and API. UI in the sense UI can also be created with the help of the wrap application if you wanted to access only the URL, not the interfaces. Then you can go with the web API. There are multiple options. So ultimately, this can be used in the SAP Fiori apps, consume the OData UI service, or else web API, consume OData API. So it has been simplified with this diagram. Consider this is a database table. On top of the database is created a CDS based data model. That CDS based data model, how to behavior, we have to define it in the behavior definition. In the behavior definition, that ABAP code is been written in the behavior implementation class. So for each and this one, that DDS model, we have to project it. That's a consumption view. So similarly for the behavior definition also, behavior consumption, projection consumption. On top of the consumption, you can create a service definition. On top of the service definition, you have to memorize this architecture by anything. So once you memorize this, then the wrap will be really easy. Okay. So just only the internal, there are a lot of features will be available, but when you come to know the architecture of the wrap, then you can easily create any of it. You must know the how it is linked, how is been creating, what is the importance of the each and every artifacts you created, whether it is important, mandatory, and how the flow is happening from one to another. If you know this complete diagram is in a technical way and in the real scenario and the how is the flow you can observe, then I can say that you 50% you can done with the wrap, because one other 50% is like a adding features you wanted to do, or if you want to leverage anything on top of the existing one you wanted to create in something else. That's one. And so the projection, why it is coming into the switch, because if you on top of the business object, if you create another applications, but you wanted to add some other feature. For example, one non-CDS to contain a 10 records of a SQL table, and you want to create a one any random application wanted to show 5 applications. On top of the 5 applications, you want to do the CRUD operations and all. But business object will stream in the same for a 10 fields. But now the separate application, if you have the remaining 5 fields you want to use, but still the business object is to remain the same. You can create a one more projection layer on top of the same business object and use it, and it's for a different application. Okay, and like a encapsulation also. In the behavior definition, if you have a CRUD like a create, update, or delete operation, but if you and that the whatever the application you're creating, but and don't want to the create operation, only the create and change operation, delete operation you want to perform, then you can remove the delete in the projection layer. Clear? Uh, so projection is act as a what you want to expose it. So by this you can create a multiple applications also. In service definition also you can create a multiple service definition on top of the same core data service. Just like a inheritance you can consider, not exactly, but it is similar like. So, JK, you thought about the question, right? The same by the projection. So, with the same business object, you want to create a multiple applications. Okay, where we can have a projection ones, where we have to restrict the particular. We can still use the same functionality of the business core, but you don't want to use it, and I want to create a multiple application on the same code data, like inheriting the parent to one, and you want to add some additional, then you can. And even if you enhance it in the future, for example, if you want, if you in future if you enhance it, you can only better to go with the consumption view only, so it won't disturb the another application unnecessarily. So and you can avoid if you in the as a beginner level, you can avoid this projection layer also. It is not like a mandatory do it, but it is better and recommended way to create the projection view. Why? Because in the upcoming future, if the same business object already been created and running perfectly in the production system, and if you don't want to touch it, okay, rather than touching the interface view, then if you have one of the projection view, then we can extend the projection view itself. The projection, but interface that main core object will touch it, and create a one more separate application that also can be possible. But for now, that's a data model projection, these two, and the behavior projection, it may not mandatory, but recommended way to create it. So in future, any of the additional features, any extensions, if we wanted to do it for a particular those application only, that can be handled easily. Otherwise, it will be once if we disturb the core logic, then it will disturb the entire flow. I mean, so whichever the other applications as well. And once you create these OData services, and you want to create a service binding, like want to create, you earlier you have created just a only API. So if you want to create on top of the API, you want to add a UI services also. So we can create that, create a one more service binding and create that. Wrap object is like a one considered as a one core business object. On top of it, you are adding the actual features and encapsulating with a projection to use it how you want to expose it. If you come it with the CDS view, data published true. This is an obsolete one. Earlier, we used to create the data with the help of the directly on top of the CDS view with the help of the annotation, but it is only does the read operation, not a CRUD operation. Okay, and so to do the CRUD operation, behavior definition, service definition, and service binding. These three are introduced. It is again still giving the same OData services, but the CRUD with the CRUD operations. Any doubts so far? A lot of concepts has been explained. Hello.
Yes, yes.
Any doubts so far? That what is the architecture? What are the things we'll create? From next session, we create the managed scenario from the scratch. Okay.
Okay.
But
Okay.
memorize. Startingly, it will difficult to memorize it when we start the create a one or two wrap application by your own, then and debug it also. Then only you will understand the flow of it. And currently CDS we cannot debug it, but only the ABAP code you can debug it. Okay, and there are some recommended way to go ahead how to treat it and all, because if you disturb it any of the particular some artifacts, it must follow the subsequent flow also. Otherwise, it will give a unwanted error. You may not even resolve it. You have to delete it and create it, because currently a wrap, I have seen it might be improved by today. But when I was in there, whenever I have disturbed any of the instead of CRUD, or if you failing changing the field or naming name of the sum in random places, it will disturb the complete the flow. It will give random error. Random error is a generic error message. You are not able to trace it to what the error message indicate and what is that you have to follow. Since there are limitations also there in the from the wrap perspective and architecture level perspective, but since as a beginner you must understand what is about, because every quarterly that SAP is releasing the latest versions, so every features also being added into the architecture level and the UI perspectives. You will find the more advanced and stable applications in the future. For now, I would say, as my experience, there are a lot of non multiple complexity and more complex multiple objects to be created. So when we have a multiple objects will create, then we have a permutation combination will be increased. But if we have only one object, then we can show that this is a one of the object we artifacts is having an issue. So we will have to look into. But when we fail anything else in the application level, then you have to go by the reverse engineering. First, we'll see what are the service binding, whether it is published or not, and see whether it's a service definition, what are the service definition, like a CDS you want to have, whether it is exposed properly or not, and the level by level. So it means multiple objects will have a multiple permutation combination. So multiple permutation, then we have a multiple errors to define and understand the errors. Even the SAP sometimes it will give a generic message, so not able to see that where that error message is coming from. So there are some recommendation I would say during the session. Just follow this. But whenever you try to create it any and in the upcoming session, just to follow the step-by-step approaches only as a beginner. Otherwise, you will be really confused and not know how the flow is being processing it. Okay. So for now, this is the architecture, the complete architecture overview of the diagram. it starts from the database table, and this is just a database table we wanted to perform the CRUD operation. We're creating the RAP application, that's a RESTful application model, that the framework being given by the SAP to create the Fiori application, where on the Fiori side you can add a CRUD operations, read, update, delete. Okay, on top and on base model, that's a database table only. Okay, what are the artifacts? Again, I'm using CDS view. On top of the CDS view, we're creating the interface behavior definition. For a behavior definition, you define it, and behavior implementation. Implementation is like a code, a web code. We have to write it for what operation you want to and how you want to perform the create saving. While saving, you want to do any validation, determination, and all that. And on top of the interfaces, you create the consumption view, data model projection, and behavior. This also can be has to be projection. This whatever the projection we have projected, that you has to us kept it in the service definition. Again, why it is needed? Then we can have a multiple pen service CDS view, but you want to go with the only one or two three service CDS view can be must be exposed. That also can be done because multiple service definition can be created, multiple service binding can be created, multiple projections all be created. But the base CDS views is still remain the same. If you want to do a multiple query application, it's like a flexible when we have multiple artifacts, so we have multiple flexibility also, and multiple scalability can also be done. Flexibility in the sense, in the future, if you want to core application still remain the same, on top of it you want to add any application but without disturbing the other Fiori application, then at that time this you will find that projection layer will be very helpful in service definitions and all. Okay, so this one where we can tutorials is for following the SAP. On the next session we'll start it. Any doubts so far? SAP, what is SAP BTP? What is services subscription? How is the handling service marketplace, BTP ABAP environment, difference in the is ABAP environment and SAP S4HANA system? What is the RAP architecture and all? Today we have learned the VDM, cardinality. There is one more which is not there in the list topic, that is access control and the developing of onboarding of real trial account, setting of the ADT, and the RAP architecture. Any doubts so far?
No, Bhaskar,
No,
not yet.
no, Bhaskar. We will install it tomorrow, that BTP services.
Yes. So from next onward, we'll directly create the Fiori applications. This which will be following by this tutorial. Not exactly, but it is the same. Okay, given by the SAP. I will show you also build an SAP Fiori application. I would recommend you can go through this developer.sap.com. So yeah, the group I clearly mentioned it one by one, and creating the database table and all. Okay. So we have a 15 minutes of time, then we can just only the overview of managed scenario and unmanaged scenario. I will tell you. Managed scenario and managed scenario. Just not much different. So whatever we create the RAP application, we have two approaches. What is the managed scenarios and one is unmanaged scenario. What is the difference in it? Manage the scenario, automatic standard CRUD operation using a SAP RAP framework, require minimal developer input. Unmanaged scenario overview. Unmanaged scenario involve manual implementation of all business logic, providing greater flexibility but require more efforts. recommendation and benefits is like manager scenario are recommended for most cases due to simplicity and consistency and adherence to SAP best practices. In this example, on top of the CDS, on top of this database table, you want to do the CRUD operations on the database table, then go with the managed scenario. Okay, because the RAP framework is capable to handle, generate that on top of the database table, RAP framework with a managed scenario where you don't have to write any uh, logic for it to insert the record into the custom table, because it is straightforward. But when we have a complex structure, we wanted to do the multiple operation. We wanted to perform the upload it into the multiple table by using the BAPI, right? Because BAPI is like a something different structure, different tables will involve into it, right? So at that time, unmanaged scenario will be come into the picture. Unmanaged scenario in the sense, we just have to create a structure where create, how you want to create, handle the create, how you want to handle the read, how you want to handle the delete operation, how you want to handle the update operation. All this you have to write it manually in the behavior implementation class. But when we come to the managed scenario, all will be taken care by the SAP, including the CRUD operations and save operations. Since it is a straightforward, we just have to give the field values and we directly straight one-to-one relation. It directly stored into the database table, right? One-to-one. There is no much complexity involved in this. Yeah, if you want to have some any validation to it, and if you want to determine any of the field automatically, then still with the managed scenario you handle it. Because if the pipeline is a straight, you want to do some random in between, you add it. But if you want to handle save differently, you wanted to handle delete differently rather than updating into the custom table, and you to handle the delete of update, you can consider update. If you want to update it, update operation not directly on the database table, you want to update the other database table or other any to store it in the AL11 table, AL repository, or any other random database table, or you want to trigger something else on top of the thread of update operation, then unmanaged scenario will come into the picture. Unmanaged sense, CRUD operation will be handled by the SAP system. In unmanaged scenario, we have to handle everything at CRUD operations. Clear? Managed scenario. Any doubt?
I don't think so. Nobody is responding.
Just tired of writing. Okay, manage, it's a simple one. Nothing. When we go, explanation is simple, but when we do the real example, it is a complex and in unmanaged scenario. Managed scenarios, everything will be taken care by the SAP only. Consider as a SM30. Okay, SM30, where you just have to generate it, right, in the TMG, transport maintenance generator, table maintenance generator, right? You just have to give authorization object and screen number, and it generate it automatically generate the authorization group, and that editable, non-editable, and that create, update, delete operation will be handled by the framework. Correct? SM30, I'm saying.
Correct.
Yeah, that is a managed scenario. Now consider as a ALV report, where you can, where the use we are creating a ALV report. On top of the ALV report, you want to add some of the fields, different fields, fetching from a different table, and do the operation while you click on the save. So you are the one who write the code for a save operation, or any hyperlink operations, or like any enable, disabling, or delete operation, update operation, you will be handling by your own. if we go with an ALV report, that is an unmanaged scenario. We have to write it by manually, that code. In this case also, in managed scenario, we have an option like a SM30. We just have to give the names of it, that's it. Rest all it will automatically generate, similar like SM30. I'm just giving an comparison, but not exactly that SM30 like UI side. At authorization of the screen number, we don't have that screen and all. Rather, it will create the artifacts automatically. Okay, we'll do the implement manage scenario in the upcoming session. We start with the manage scenario. Okay, from next creating database table. So from next towards database table definition. So where real wrap application we are going to learn. But the architecture you must remember. So whenever I create anything else, you take this is in your mind and assume that which space I am in it, and you interlink with all the artifacts together. I will initially try to create all the artifacts. Okay, so to avoid the confusion. So just like for you, JK, you can avoid this creation also. Is an optional one, but for a flexibility in the upcoming future, we usually create it.
Okay.
Is a recommended way. The projection one.
Got it.
And a metadata extension also. There is metadata extension like a UI learn. You can still UI annotation. You can add it in the CDS data model itself. Okay, no need to the projection and no need to the metadata extension. But to keep separate each and everything separately for a readability purpose also. Because everything, if you combine all together in one, it will become a mess. And also the extensibility also, extension is also difficult to write it, to view. That's the reason also, that is also one of the major reason that everything like a UI annotation, we are keeping a separate. For example, as of now, I've seen it, the UI annotation as inbuilt, written inbuilt. It is not a simple annotation, but if you have a major annotation, that UI annotation, we can still write it in here, but we will keep it as a separate one. We'll see that next. I think I've covered almost all for today's. Manage this analysis. Okay, implement manage this scenario from topic 4 week 2. We'll try to speed. I will try glow this slowly because this is a major important one as for the wrap on these two concepts. I think it will take a 2 more sessions for this. We'll see. Rest all is a side-by-side extensibility and all. It's a clean core concept. Even if we are not knowing, that is fine. But we are learning with the wrap. So these are the main core concept for the until the training session. So be available for the next. And be prepared if you don't have any S4HANA system. Be prepared with an trial account.
Okay. We will create
Okay. Yes, boss.
Okay then. So, thank you. Good
Thank you.
night all.
Thank you, Oscar. Good night. Have a nice weekend.
Yeah.
You too. You all.